What is going on YouTube? Hayden here, and in today's episode we are going to be looking at XRP, Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, as well as VONG, which is the Russell 1000, and also the S&P 500, which is seeing some interesting movements, some trading outside our major resistance. Not sure if just tweaking it like this will work. It could, hopefully it does. I just did it here from this to this. We'll see if this is accurate or not. But anywho, we are looking at these major cryptos, which are having a clear rejection off some of these major technical indicators, the resistance levels. You can see clear as day here for XRP. Like, we have this beautiful bull flag formation. We rally up. We're in this lower high, lower low pattern here. And we discussed in yesterday's episode, big problem zone where we are currently. Big rejection, we caused a swing back up, but now we are trading below moving average, really low below this moving average. You can see the separation here on the moving average here, but huge wick back down. So the bears are clearly winning right now, and today opened in the negative. So there's a very good chance we could see a descent, a correction, and a downtrend, which would be in line with our theory that XRP is in what I believe is a very large head and shoulders pattern. We'll talk about that later on in today's video here. We're also going to be looking at Solana, which rejected off resistance as well, causing correction to the downside. We have Ethereum trading outwards here. You can see boom, 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 boom. Looks excellent here. Bitcoin in an uptrend. VONG inside an uptrend though. S&P in an uptrend though. So kind of all over the place, but we'll go over everything in a moment with you. I want to give a huge shout out to Pepe Me for sponsoring today's episode. As with all cryptocurrency projects and platforms, please do your own research and never invest anything you can't afford to lose. So guys, there's a new meme coin project making waves right now, and it's growing fast. If you've been watching the charts on CoinMarketCap, you've probably noticed how quickly Pepe-inspired tokens are surging, and one project in particular has caught a lot of attention lately for how fast it's moving. It's called Pepe Meme, and their official site is pepememe.io. According to this site, they've already raised over 3.5 million in the very first round of their pre-sale, and they're just getting started. They made the process of buying in pretty straightforward, and the hype is clearly building. Social media growth has also been explosive. Their Twitter account has been gaining momentum, and according to twitterscore.io, they've been followed by major accounts, including people from Binance, Coinbase, Ethereum, Solana, and even the CEO of SUI. Influencers like DZ, Andrew, Alex Finn, and Ashley have also followed the project. What's really catching attention is what's coming next. There's reportedly a Telegram game airdrop in the works, and insiders are saying the total rewards could exceed $20 million. So those who get in during the pre-sale may receive priority access to rewards and bonus tokens. Again, over 3.5 million has already been raised, and this is just round one. The project says a full game is on the way, with a planned release in the Apple Play Store and a goal to bring in over 50 million users. So we're saying this could be a 1000x opportunity, and if nothing else, it's definitely one of the most ambitious meme coin launches out there right now. If you're curious, this could be a moment to take a closer look while it's still early. Otherwise, guys, let's get back into the technical analysis, and huge shout out again to Pepe Me for sponsoring today's episode. Now, guys, diving into the technical analysis, I want to start off looking at the CMC, the current coin market cap. We're pretty much in a good position right now. We're floating at 53 on fear and greed, which is certainly like a more neutral playing field. Like, we're trading sideways, which means pretty much anything can happen. We're not overbought. We're not oversold. There's not too many hands in the market. There's not too little hands in the market, which would give us a general consensus of which direction we'd probably move to. Right now, we're neutral. We have consolidated enough where not really much is going on, and you can see over the past couple of days, nothing really in regards to volume or price movement has shown signs of, oh, we are due for a dump or a correction here. Markets overall, we're slowly losing volume. Volume is slowly getting pulled out of the markets here, which is okay if you ask me. Like, prices are slowly starting to drop downwards here. Some are even, over the course of a week, down 10 to 15%, which is insane here. But all in all, I do believe we look really good. You can see yesterday's episode, we talked about the possibility of shocking discoveries in the fact that we are still well within our descending fractals here, well within our technical indicators. And this could cause correction to the downside. So we'll see where we end up moving to in the very near future here. But looking at XRP to start, you can see if I zoom out just a hair, we are in a massive head and shoulders pattern here. This is a massive one, and I still hold it true. A lot of you guys were coming at me saying, oh, we've broken out of it. We've disqualified the, the head and shoulders pattern. I disagree. I still think we are well within one, and we are currently completing, pretty much coming to the end of the cycle for the second head or the second shoulder. I'll even draw it to make it a little bit clearer as to what it is that we're looking at here, but you can see this was the first kind of shoulder, the left shoulder. This is the head right here. Now we're looking for second shoulder, which is this. So you could see how this inevitably does confirm that there is some sort of head and shoulders pattern here. We have left shoulder, right shoulder, head, and we have neckline drawn straight in the middle. So if we, which apparently it seems like it wants to do, it really does look like we are going to try to reject off this resistance here. It doesn't look like we have enough steam to break through this. There's a chance we could start our descent back to the downside and get really close, dangerously close to retesting this support. Now, keep in mind, this head and shoulders pattern is massive, which means more than likely it is the overwhelming technical indicator that we are going to have to pay attention to. So this could cause us to correct down into here. And then if we break through this floor, it would ultimately cause a massive sell-off to the downside, which we'd have to pay very close attention to. And I'm giving you warning, ample warning, several weeks in advance as to what we could expect and anticipate to see coming in the very near future here. Now, aside from seeing this possible correction, we could also disqualify or discredit the or cancel out the head and shoulders pattern. And how we would do that is if we ultimately can see us rally or break through this major downtrend here, which doesn't seem that accurate. Although anything at this point could happen here, it doesn't seem like we have enough volume to breach this price ceiling, but it doesn't have to happen now. At any point, if we break through this yellow resistance here and close above it, and ideally start to trade above this major resistance and breach the price ceiling from before, if we break through the previous high here, we could ultimately escape the big possibility of this head and shoulders pattern, which would be nasty if we did actually see, and start to see a rally to the upside here. But it's only if we confirm closure above this major resistance, because if we don't break through that, then we are more than likely going to see a descent back to the downside here. So pay close attention to how we react inside this descending fractal, because as you guys know, even though this is what I would consider a bull flag, we are still creating a lower high, lower low trend, which is bearish. So ultimately, until we reverse out of it and start creating higher lows, which is possible right here, we are still looking for a bearish market sentiment, and we are still going to be correcting to the downside here. So it is still negative, and there's a very good chance I'm still leaning about 70% bearish than I am bullish. Now, moving forward from XRP and looking at these other cryptos, everything else shows similar signs as to both opportunities or both options here. You can see Solana has broken outside of its uptrend here. We had this higher low, higher high pattern. Since then, it has started a lower high, lower low descent, and this would ultimately cause correction or pullback to the downside here, which is what we're paying very close attention to. So ideally, this is what we need to breach. Like, we're going to continue to descend downwards in this lower high, lower low pattern unless and only unless we see confirmation breach above major resistance here. So it's not just XRP that looks bearish, because again, we need a lot of volume to breach this major resistance here, which doesn't seem likely. I expect a descent unless some major manipulative news comes out in the markets randomly here. But otherwise, you can see rejection on moving average here as well. We had this bearish cross here on the moving average where the green band crossed over the red band here. So until we're still showing huge signs of uncertainty and doubt and correction here. So I very much so expect to see lower levels to come within these cryptocurrencies in the short term. If we breach resistance, well, hey, maybe we'll have a chance of recovery, because there is that bull flag, tendency here. How we enter is how we exit. We enter bullish, consolidation. We could see a bullish breakout as well. But until then, I would very likely think we're going to continue to skew and scale lower here, which is a nuisance. It's very annoying, but that seems to be how these markets seem to be playing out over the past couple of months here. And then you start looking at cryptos like Ethereum and these others. Like, XRP has a clear and obvious kind of downtrend, lower high, lower low pattern here. Same thing with Solana, looks very similar. But then you throw in like Ethereum and these other cryptos, and they're doing entirely different things, which is interesting. Ethereum, in my opinion, has this beautiful bullish rally to the upside, and then it sort of has this kind of ascending, broadening wedge here where the prices keep scaling out higher. This inevitably is bearish. I'll draw it right here. This is what an ascending, broadening wedge looks like. I don't think it breaks bullish here. You can see they're showing a confirmation to the upside. In my opinion, they look sort of bearish like this. They are textbook bearish, where we have these higher lows and higher highs. As we head up, we enter bullish, But as we head higher, we confirm closure below this uptrend here, and we end up breaking downwards. That's what I think is more so forming on here. If anything, it's not as, on an upward angle. It's more sideways trading here, but I still believe it does have bearish tendencies. Could be proven wrong, but either way, you can see this kind of fractal that's forming here. We don't have enough kind of evidence to support another technical indicator. This is clearly and obviously what is happening here, and we're slowly getting these wider bands that I think inevitably break downwards. It very well could break downwards. So again, how we react with these would determine whether we want to buy in or whether we're going to be shorting here. But until then, it is not really much trading inside these technical indicators just yet, but we could see rejection off XRP. Like, I do really want to emphasize that these two do look very, they have a lot of potential for correction here. Another ascending, broadening wedge, in my opinion, for Bitcoin here as we head up higher. You can see like this, but again, support is right here, and there's a chance we could breach this and come back down to the moving average here. It'd be a healthy pullback in the short term, in my opinion here. And then to wrap up today's video with Vong and the S&P 500, we just slightly tweaked this chart earlier in the video, as you saw, and now as we start to trend, you can see within this pattern here, we are still in a higher low, higher high. We slowly are lowering ourselves from what was 68 on the RSI down to 63, but I do think we're going to probably breach through it. And I think it would be necessary, maybe a little higher, but eventually stumble and trade sideways in here like we did in the past. And you can see what that did is lower us from 73 on the RSI all the way down to 50, and that can give us more potential to head to the upside, which is what I think is going to happen. So maybe we rally up, we fall, and then start to consolidate. So I'll draw a new trend because we kind of drew out what I already figured here. But if I erase it and move this up, I could see us maybe climbing a bit higher, falling, consolidating in here, and then heading up. Something along the lines of that. Similarly with the past, but we breached this all-time high and see a rally, but we're trying to. We're getting really, really, really close to breaching that all-time high, which is very exciting if you ask me. Same exact thing, same exact pattern with the stock market. That's what I'd likely suspect as well. We're getting really close to retesting all-time highs again, and then we should get volume that would burst us even higher this time around. But with that being said, smash the like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, check out Pepe Me if you haven't already, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.